Hey everybody, welcome back. It's day 13, and that means we are almost done with the book of John. We just have a couple more days on this, and then we are going into Romans next. In chapter 13, we find ourselves with the disciples and with Jesus, and they're having a meal. And this is when Jesus insists that he should wash the disciples' feet. And he's doing this as an act of servanthood and trying to teach them by his actions what they need to be doing for others. And some of them, as usual with the disciples, just don't quite get what Jesus is trying to say. The first verse that kind of stuck out to me was at the very tail end of verse 1, and it says, "Having loved his own who were in the world, he now showed them the full extent of his love." And then there's like the little footnote that goes down to the bottom of my Bible, and it says, "Where he loved them to the last." And I love that Jesus knew that his time with these men on earth was coming to a close. He knew that he would be going to join God soon, but he loved these men that he had grown with, and they had become a brotherhood. And I have so many great sisters through my dance team that I couldn't imagine living with these people for that long and knowing that you were leaving them. I I couldn't imagine it, and I love that it says not only that he loved them, but he loved them to the last. He loved them so much, and he always will. Verse 16 kind of stuck out to me, and it says, "I tell you the truth, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them." I also read 17. But it's always a good idea to not only read the one verse, but to read the surrounding verses. Put that verse in context. What is it really saying? Sometimes people, especially if they want to make a verse more inspirational, they will take it completely out of context, and that's not quite how the Bible is meant to be taken. You're supposed to read the whole thing. Anyways, verse 16, no servant is greater than his master, and Jesus is not greater than God. And I think that it's really important to remember that we in no way, shape, or form are greater than God. And we never will be, and that's just how it is. God is God, and we are not. And I think that sometimes we need to be kept in balance, kept in check, that we know that we are not greater than God and that we need to be humble about everything we do. Verse 34 and 35. "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this all men will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." I think that sometimes Christians get a bad rap because people will look at them and say, you're supposed to be more accepting and more loving and more generous, and why aren't you all these things that we assume that you are supposed to be? And one of the strongest things that Jesus told throughout all of his time, and that is continued to be shown, is that we are supposed to be loving, and that we are supposed to love without question and love without judgment. And it's really hard in today's world with so many things that go against what God has said, but our society is telling us that we have to accept these things even though they are very much against God. And that's tough. But we need to love everyone with our whole heart and soul and show them that Jesus loves them too. Please let me know what stuck out to you today, and we'll be back tomorrow with chapter 14. And don't forget to continue to share this with friends and family and get someone else in with us when we start reading Romans. I'm excited to see where the rest of this will go. I continue to be encouraged by just getting in the Word more, and I feel like it's really helping me, and I've definitely found that if I don't make the time to read within a day, that I feel like part of me is just not right. And I think that is the hunger for the Word that we all need. So stay beautiful.